my name's Glenn. Welcome to Discovery Shed. This is a new channel where I'm going to be doing a series of videos on discovery ute conversions from D1, 2, 3 and 4. And I intend to do a series of videos on each different model. I would like to start with the D2, with the D1, but I don't have one to do at the moment, but I've got a D2 here. And we'll do a series of videos from start to finish, show you how to pull them to pieces and how to go about it. Whether you're doing a ute conversion or whether you just have an interest in Land Rovers, you'll pick up some extra information as we go on interior, body, chassis, electrical. There'll be a process of pulling these things to pieces and how to go about it, but there'll be extra information as we go, so stay tuned. And look, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and you'll get the notifications of new videos. Thank you. Okay, let's get cracking. First thing you probably need to be aware of is what the equipment is you're going to need and what tools you're going to need to do the job. Most home workshops will have the spanners and that is needed. There'll be only a few bits and pieces that you'll need to get. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible so those without professional equipment can still do the job with ease. So look, let's just start here. That's a sensor from the inside. We'll get back to that later on. There's a reason why I got them there. When you set your workshop up, try and give yourself a little bit of room to move. I've got plenty of room here. This is a one vehicle at a time workshop, and all the equipment I need is here. There is some in another shed, but keep it nice and tidy. Plenty of room to move around, and that's the vehicle that we're going to be working on. Now, tool-wise, for the interior, to pulling the interior out and the doors off, you're going to need, to start with, to pull the doors off, you're going to need a couple of sockets, maybe some spanners, and my favourite is my little 1/4" drive socket sets. Very handy. If you haven't got one of them, I advise you go and get one. So to do this, you're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of side cutters of some description. Now you need an upholstery spanner, which is this one here. This is a plastic one. There, you can buy them on Fleabay. You're probably better off buying something a little bit more quality about it, but that'll do the job. That'll get you out of danger. You'll need an assortment of screwdrivers. I've got a 1/4" drive handle here with that I use with the little deep dish sockets to get to the hard to get to bits. Also keep a 3/8 drive ratchet, a couple of extensions. Now, torque bits. You can buy a set similar to this. That's got pretty much every size you'll want. Now, they're good to have, but I like to use these, and you buy these in a kit. They're 3/8 and 1/4" drive, depending on what size they are. So you see you've got a 3/8 drive one there, and that's a 1/4" drive one. They're really handy, advisable to get one of them. And of course, you keep your 3/8 drive sockets as well. You'll need 13mm, 14mm, probably a 12, maybe a 10. You'll need drive pieces for electric drill, and they're handy to have because there's a lot of screws to undo. You'll need a couple of scrapers, or one good scraper. That's a 50mm or a 2" scraper, and it does the job. Screwdrivers of all descriptions. So the normal stuff that you would keep in your toolbox will probably do the job here for you. Now, very important thing that you need to have is a marking pen, and you need some tape. Why do you need tape? Label everything. So when you pull all of your electrical sockets to pieces, or to bits, mark them up what they are. Because honestly, you're going to have 30-40 different plugs when you're pulling your car to pieces, and you're going to need to know where they go back to. You're not going to use all of them, but mark every single one of them, and I'll show you what we do with them when we've done all that. The other thing you need is a can of WD-40, and you're going to use it. You'll use the whole thing on doing this job, and I'll show you. There's a few bits that you're going to use lots of. The other thing you'll need a torch. You need some Ziploc bags to put all your gear in as you pull it to bits. See this one here? That's rear side panels. That's in the back. I've marked them up. There we go. D2 door fittings and bolts. And you'll need a decent set of gloves, safety glasses, all the normal safety gear that you're going to need. So you don't need a whole lot of gear, but you do need a certain amount. If you're going to be doing this at home, you're going to need a MIG welder, you're going to need a grinder, and a little bit of gear to work with sheet metal. So look, a pretty good setup home workshop will do the job. And this is my setup here. This is my home workshop. This is my home. This is my personal vehicle. This one. So let's get down to the vehicle, its history, and what we're going to do to it. Okay, let's get cracking. Let's do a ute conversion. The vehicle is 2003 V8 Auto Discovery. It's Australian content one. Vehicle has zero rust in it, zero corrosion. The vehicle's done a huge amount of work. It's done desert work. It's taken us into the bush. It's done tens of thousands of kilometres all over Australia with my partner and I, Josie and I, together. It's been ultra reliable. It's never let us down. It's done a lot of kilometres, but it's well worth a rebuild, this vehicle. So we're going to do the ute conversion, repaint it, build a fast tray on the back of it. We're not going to do a chassis extension on this. I want the manoeuvrability. This is going to be a bit of a toy for me and my daily driver. The engine's going to be rebuilt. Being Australian content, it is a 4 litre V8. You guys in the US and the UK, you get your 4.6s and your TD5s. We get the TD5s in Australia, they're very popular as well. So it's going to get repaint, and we're doing a big job on it. We will build the motor. The engine will probably end up being a 5 or 5.2 or 5.4 litre build up. We'll get to that as we do it. So it has a nice ARB Sahara bar on the front of it. And the D2As, they did a really good job on the front end of these. They're a pretty smart looking vehicle with the flashlights. I've got a set of new ZU 16.8 tyre wheels and some 285 tyres on there. This had rock sliders on it. The rock sliders are gone. I'm going to have to cut them down to make them in proportion with the cab. There's several ways you can do the cabs on these. You can do them as an extra cab, or you can do them as a short cab. This one's going to be done as a short cab, so I'm not altering the wheelbase, and I don't want the thing to look out of proportion, so we're going to cut it back to probably about here. If you're doing an extra cab, you cut them off about here, and you got over that line that I've marked on there. So that gives you a fair bit of room in behind the seats. But even doing it as a small cab, you've still got plenty of room in behind the seats to put your clothes and your gear that you might take camping with you. Excuse me. First thing you really need to do is ditch the doors and the tailgate. Now they're relatively easy. You've got your hinges here, your hinge down the bottom, and you've got your door lock, stop it sliding open too far. And on the inside here, you've got your electrical plugs. Now they go into that cavity there, and they tuck in there. So from your door, they come in through that hole there, and that has the little rubber tube with all the electricals in it that come out to your door. So you can undo your wiring in there, and then you can feed all your plugs and everything back through the hole, so it stays with the door. So when you undo them, you can lift the door off and get rid of that, get it out of the way. I do everything pretty much immediately as I'm pulling to bits. So the door rubber, it goes straight away. I'll get them straight out of the way. You don't want stuff like that hanging around. Get it right out of the way. It's not under your feet. When you do your rear tailgate, come back here. So your gate, it's the same deal. Hinge there. Your electricals are here with your little rubber sleeve with all your electricals in it. Again, the electrical plugs are in the back here. Just unplug them, feed them through. There's your other hinge. Now down here, you've got your gate lock, so your gate won't swing too far open. There's a C-clip holds that on, so you need to remove that, and you can lift your door off. I generally you take the spare off, of course, otherwise it's too bloody heavy to lift by yourself. And again, get rid of your plastics here. That all just unscrews, all very easy. And get rid of your rubber. Get it right out of the way. Next thing you do is your rear bar. Couple of ways you can do it. The easiest way to do it, you'll find these bolts here. There's one on either side, and they hold your crush pack which sits under the bar. The lights in the bar come out from behind. They don't come out. They undo from behind and they come out the front. You'll also need to undo your parking sensors if you have them. I've taken them out because I'm going to reuse them in whatever tray I build. It'll be a custom tray. And you'll have some screws and stuff down in here for the bar, but it's all fairly simple and easy to take off. Now, this bit here sits up here, and you'll get to that once you get the guard off. Now this is your diff breather. See, it sits right up in there, so yeah, you'd have to have some pretty deep water to get water in your diffs. When I've undone the bar, of course I've got all the towing wiring. That's all right, that can just stay there. That's not going anywhere. Now remember what I said about your wiring? You've got to mark it all. So that one there, it tells me that's the tail light, the brakes and turn lights. That plug was the top plug for the lights up the top here. You can take them out, they're your lights out. They screw into this panel from the outside. There's only 4 screws, hold on to them. You take your electricals out and you can feed your electricals back down. They can run through that hole there, feed them back into the inside of the cab and get them out of the way. Now, once you've done that, you can come back and under your seats, I'll leave the front doors on, I never take them off. Under your seats in there, you need your torque bits here. So there's one there, there's one there, there's another one in the front. So you get rid of your plastics off the outside. That's all easy to do. You don't need me to tell you how to do that. You'll work it out. And this one here is a torque bit as well, but it has a nut underneath it. It's the only one that has a nut underneath it. So give it a good spray of WD-40 before you go anywhere close to it. Let it soak for a bit. Taking your console out, it's all fairly easy. All just unscrews. You'll work all that out. There are videos on YouTube telling you how to do that. I'm not going to go into that because it's be too time consuming to explain it. I bundle all the wiring up. I put them into a cheapo bag, and I sit them on the console. There's a bit of extra wiring there that goes through to the inverter that I've got under the bonnet. But it's all nice and tidy, and as you can see there's no rust in this thing. There's not a speck of rust. It's done beach work. It's been pretty well looked after. Well, take your carpets out after that, after you've got your seats out and your back seats. Again, you'll need torque bits here, and they mount there and there. Another 2 on the other side, and those seats will come out. They're a bit spring loaded, so watch your fingers when you do that. Take your carpets out, take your computers out, they lay on the floor, and I'll say all that wiring goes into there. Keep it all in there, tied up, nice and easy, doesn't get damaged. I leave the back carpet in at this stage because I've still got to get up in there to undo the wiring in the back. So I do that for comfort because I don't want my skinny old ass getting bumps and lumps on it from sitting on hard metal. Now, while you're wiring that you do, just push it back in there for the moment. There's two pieces. There's one side and there's two sides of it, and you can see it's fairly integral up in the roof there. You'll get to that once you pull the hood lining out. Now, your next step after you've got to this stage here, your carpets are gone and everything, is to take your hood lining out, and you've got your plastic mount that your visors and everything in are up the front. That's the first thing you want to take out. Now, that bit that was on the bench that I mentioned, let me explain that to you. This bit here, that's that little clip that your sun visors go into, and has a little cap over the top of it. You've got to sort of pry that out. I broke this one, so I'll have to get another one. But it has a screw that goes down through there, and on the back, once you've done the screw out, you've got these two little tabs. When you go to try and get it out, the bloody things break off. So do yourself a favour, order two of these before you even start, because you're going to break them. So back to this here. So you've undone that bit, and you've got your handles, and you see they screw up there. I think they're a 6, 7, 8 mil bolt. The holes both of them in. Use your drill. Some of them have got Phillips head screws in them, some have got bolts, and that's all gone. So at this stage you've still got your plastics in the back. I'll show you how to get them out. I generally remove the seat belts at this stage, because if you leave them in there, you're going to end up grinding spatter, welding spatter and swarf and stuff all over them, and you'll end up destroying the belt. So take them out and put them in a plastic bag. Keep it clean. Now, in the back here, let's have a look. You've got your plastic here, and then you've got your top piece. Before you take your hood lining out, you need to get these out. So here's the top piece here, and let me just sit it in there so I can show you. So we have a bag with all of the rear side panel pieces in it, right here. That's the one I showed you earlier. So let me just get some gear out. Alright, so when I talk about Christmas tree plugs, that's these suckers here. Alright, and they go in there like that, and that's what holds these in. There's only one or two screws. There's a Phillips head screw goes in that one there, and I think that one there, but the rest of them are all these Christmas tree plugs. And to get them out, come back to our upholstery spanner. This bucket here, and so the plug's in there. It's a simple matter. They'll be tight in there. The plug goes under, and you pull them out. Put them in the bag, save them up. So all those plugs will all come out of there. Your seat belt, the rear seat belt goes in through here, and that's the little clip that goes in there with them. They just clip out. You can see how they go in there. They just clip out, and then your belt can go through there. That's where your security sensor was. That's all right. You don't need any of that now. And then that one's gone. It's out of the way. So we'll get that out of the way now. Now, the bottom piece. Now, that's where that Phillips heads was where the top piece screwed into. And there's the other one there that I showed you. Now these ones here, they have upholstery plugs too. They have black ones, or whatever colour the upholstery is. So there's one there, although that's the top one, that one. So there's the bottom one there, there's one there. Right, there's a couple in the back here. That's where they go through, so they're inside there. They go through there. There's a couple. There's some of them a bit hard to find. Now this cavity here is where the cigarette lighter was in there. So you need to pull that out, undo the wiring, mark the wiring, and get that out of the way. There's some screws and stuff in there. That's where it undoes. You'll see the screw in the internal of the little cavity there. This one here is the same. Get rid of that, screws out, and then that will come out fairly easily. So you get that out of your way. You don't need to do any more than that. It's not hard to. It's not that hard to get out. When you do your back bar, I meant to mention, of course, that goes on there, and there's a screw there that screws into the panel here, the rear guard panel. There's clips on them, and you will break the bloody things. So they sort of slide in there, but gee, I've never been successful in getting them out without breaking the bastards. So your hood line, and then you can go through to finish your hood lining off. You've still got your interior lights up there holding it in there, and that one goes in there like that. And you've got screws, nuts that go on there. I think one is 6mm and one's 7mm, or 7 and 8mm. They're all odd, stupid Land Rover. So there's a couple of them. You've a two-man job to get the hood lining out. You'll need a hand. You'll need somebody to hold the back here for you, and the front, and then get the thing out. Now, I'm not going into too much detail on how to get these out, simply because there's some really good videos on YouTube on how to get the hood linings out. So go and have a search, and that'll tell you how to get them out successfully. It is a bit of a tedious job. It'll take you an hour or two to get the thing out, but you want to get it out without breaking it. And you know, just being Land Rover, you've got to buy stuff. You're going to mortgage your house to get it. All right.